Hello, my name is Craig Lockwood. I want to welcome you to the Wellbeing of Pastors Cohort number 3. I am one of the people who will be offering spiritual direction for that cohort. A little about me: I am 68, married to my wife Deborah for 42 years. I have 2 adult children, a boy and a girl, and 2 feisty kittens. I live near Portland, Oregon. I think the best analogy I have for what is spiritual direction and what is the job of a spiritual director is that of a midwife. We all have new things, hopefully, if we're growing in God. We're always having new things that are coming to birth in our awareness, in our surrender, in our discernment, in our obedience. And the role of the spiritual director is to be a deep listener, to be a co-discerner, and to walk alongside the one who is receiving direction, helping them hear themselves better, so they might more clearly understand perhaps a new calling, a new direction, a new surrender, or even resistance. I think one of the greatest things about the spiritual direction process is just learning how to receive the love of God and realize more deeply how we are the beloved of God. For me personally, spiritual direction has been of a great help. I came into the church looking for love, having realized that's what I was missing. And I had a lot of charismatic experiences in the Vineyard in my 32 years as a staff pastor. And but eventually, even though I trafficked in helping others, and that was my job. I was a pastoral care pastor doing deliverance and inner healing and support groups and lay counseling and a lot of pastoral counseling. Even though I had done all of that, I still hit a place where all the charismatic activities stopped working, and I realized I wasn't really able to carry love that well still. And so I went into a bit of a spiritual darkness and desolation. And it wasn't until I began my training as a spiritual director that I started hearing perspectives, words, information from the desert spirituals, mothers and fathers, that spoke to things that wasn't in the Vineyard dialogue. Things like what happens when I'm experiencing the felt absence of God. What happens when I don't feel like I can receive God's love? So for me, I felt like a new sort of lease on my spirituality as I began to embrace new practices and new understanding of the spiritual journey. So I also know that for pastors, it can be tough and lonely because there isn't a place to be real. There isn't a place where I don't have to be on, where I can be heard without fear of losing my job or being chastised for not being productive enough or whatever it might be. And so spiritual direction can be that place of confidential, open space where you can talk about your God relationship and receive the direction of the Holy Spirit, who is the actual director. So I invite you to take advantage of this cohort. It's going to be very helpful and beneficial to you. And know that I'll be praying for you. And I just asking God to bless you on your journey.